in some ways I still kept hoping I might wake up and find out that, the news was wrong.
Yeah, you're not alone. I think a lot of
Yeah,
us
I'm
thought
sure. Yeah,
someone's
yeah.
miscommunicated something somewhere. But
I've gotten past that now. It's been
yeah.
enough days now that it's like, yeah, it was not a mistake. I was so adamant. You remember every time I would be
Oh,
like,
last Wednesday.
well, they haven't
Yeah.
canned it yet, so until
Yeah.
they do, and the more weeks it went by, the more confident I became because we
Yeah.
don't know what's going on in the background.
No.
I became more confident, and I think that's why it hit me really hard because I think I was just hitting the point of going, yeah, it's going to be fine. Because we knew that Rafe and the writers team had rewritten the whole outline and was, so yeah. But
And I don't think you were alone. I think a
oh,
lot of the news agencies as well, like a lot of the platforms, even Forbes. Think about Forbes, that article from Forbes that was saying that we had nothing to worry about. I think it came as a
yeah,
complete shock to everybody. And I think that's one of the reasons why there's been such a negative impact since it was announced on Friday,
yeah.
because it really is a very dumb thing for Amazon Prime to have done. And yeah, because clearly somebody in there did not want this show, and clearly somebody in Sony also didn't want the show, but people did want it. And
Yeah,
there, like,
I
you,
don't know much of the background, and I don't know about Sony. I mean, I get the feeling Sony were the more willing
mm,
partner, and they couldn't get an agreement with Prime, but I don't know. But I've still got that poll of Sony's open, and
yeah.
each day, usually a couple of times a day, I go back to that poll and I do a refresh on it. I'm just going to go to it now while we're talking.
Yeah.
It's still only sitting at 22,000 votes, but of course,
Hell, we've
there
got
are still
more.
people voting because the percentage is still changing, and so people are still voting. They're just trickle voting now. 45% of people said Wheel of Time.
Think about it this way. This, the Save Wheel of Time campaign really went live. I think it was just over 3 days ago.
Yep,
We've already 46,625 signatures on our petition.
yep, yep.
So we've over 300 letters of love already come in to the campaign.
And I think you have to really take into account with that. I went and I signed the petition really quickly, but I've been so devastated. I've not been able to write the letters of love. I've not been able,
Yeah.
and so there is going to be a lot of people who want to do more, but are still
Hmm.
picking themselves up from the floor. And if anybody watching this thinks, you people have got to get alive or something like that, I'd like to just say something about why I'm so devastated, and that is that the Wheel of Time has been, for many, many years, my buffer that helps me to deal with all the life that I'm living. And so I'm, out there on the front line doing environmental stuff, trying to save these koalas. My professional life, I work with Aboriginal drug and alcohol rehab groups. So I'm actually in my real life out there working in some really heavy sort of places. And Wheel of Time has always been my buffer. It's always been what has uplifted me. And like I've heard you say, the show brought the community out, and I'm a little bit older than you, and it has been the first time in my life that I have felt that I finally found my people.
Yeah.
So that's really saying something, right? That I have had a lot of friends, and I've had a lot of great community experiences, but in my real life communities that I'm involved with, they're not easy to navigate. And all of a sudden, the community of the people who love this story just have become this shining light that I could be drawn into. And so because I'm so often fighting what feels like hopeless causes, with drug and alcohol rehab, you can only provide tools. You can't do the work for people. With the environmental state of this world, it is a nightmare. So the show had brought this whole new level for me of amazing escapism, but also this story is about resilience and courage, about facing the odds when you don't feel like you can face the odds. And this, we should have said at the beginning, this is a spoiler free, so we're not going to talk about anything in the books that would spoil, but I don't think it's a spoiler to say to people that this story is about resilience. People standing up and facing incredible odds. It doesn't mean it's all happy endings, because we have watched amazing characters die standing up for what was right and, facing all these odds. And that's why I've been so devastated, because I wanted to see how the show was going to portray all of the important things that happen through the book series, and loving that they were portrayed differently, because it was all I was left at the end of season 3 going, I only vaguely know a few things that are going to happen early in season 4, but I don't know a lot of what's going to happen because of those delightful twists and changes. And that was my escape from dealing with the real world, was to immerse myself in that.
Do you know what, Koala? I think I've had not a similar experience, but also a similar kind of buffer crutch with this show and this community, because I discovered the Wheel of Time and the community, gosh, I think it was just before I got sick. So the community became so important to me, getting me through a lot of health issues, a lot of mental health issues. The people in the community were there for me when my dad died. They've been so supportive with me about my disabilities and my limitations. And I wouldn't have any of that if it wasn't for the incredible TV series. And the people who are behind that TV series themselves are not just your average crew or cast. They became part of the community.
Yeah.
They became a part of us. It was like, sorry. It
I
was
can't
like,
believe I'm holding,
oh,
sort of
you're
just
so,
holding level at the moment. Yeah. Yeah.
oh, but and I think that's what was so unique. There's never been a fandom for anything that I have been involved in that has ever been on this scale of family.
No.
And that family is so interconnected with this show. It's not just about the books anymore. It is not just about the content anymore. It is about everyone within the community, whether they are fan fiction writers, artists, whether they are actors in the show, talking about you, Taylor, whether they are the directors, the musicians,
The
everybody, just
costume designers.
the costume
Oh.
designer. We're not worthy of Sharon and Co.
Mm.
Um, honestly.
Yeah.
And the amount of inspiration these people have given to this fandom. And I think that's part of why we're so angry as well, because it's not just letting the fans down, it's letting this incredible part of our community down. Those talented actors and performers and crew members, all those people who put their passion into learning
Mm.
every
Mm-hmm.
single thing about the Wheel of Time, the ones who went so deep diving into it that they read all the books so that they could get more and more ingrained in the story so they could be closer to it.
Yeah.
You cannot get the emotion and the passion and the absolute drive that you can see and the beauty that you can see in season 3 of The Wheel of Time if you didn't have that kind of a dedicated team. And I've never seen it before. I've never
Mm.
seen it on
Mm.
anything. They
Mm.
didn't have that in Game of Thrones. You know, people
No.
should be comparing Game of Thrones to Wheel of Time and stop doing it the other way around, because the Wheel of Time is definitely a far superior show. And it got
Let alone
cancelled.
Rings of Power.
Let's not.
Don't even
Well,
start.
it's fun to watch. It is enjoyable, but
Okay, I can't even
it's
watch.
not in the
Yeah, I
same
haven't
league.
enjoyed it at all. Yeah, I
I
only
didn't
watched
enjoy
part of
first
season
watch.
1. Yeah.
The rewatch, because I didn't have as high expectations anymore, I actually found it enjoyable. And the
Right.
second season was brilliant. It was actually an excellent battle scene that I thought was brilliant. But anyway, it's still not on the same league as the Wheel of Time.
No,
If
because so much of it is the I mean, where do you start? All right. I love the costuming, I love the set design, but it's the writing and the acting that really pulled me into how the story was unfolding. And that's what Rings of Power was
it doesn't
missing.
have, yeah,
Um, Game of Thrones had the potential for it in the early seasons,
yeah,
and for many reasons it that all completely fell apart. But every new character that they brought in continued to be that same high level, bringing in all of that extra, and you don't often see that in a television show. To bring
no,
in somebody like Shora in this last season and then can it is like just so ridiculous, because we were obviously just stepping up and up and up and up, and it's definitely going to be Amazon's loss.
yeah.
The If the campaign is successful, whoever picks this up, uh, you know, I just hope it's fast, because there are, we could have certain characters recast, but there are certain characters
That
that
can't
they've got
be.
to be able to get those contracts
Mm-hmm.
and keep going, and so time is going to be of the essence
Well, there's nothing come
for
out
that
from,
side of it.
yeah, there's nothing come out yet from Rafe or Rosamund, so I'm
Right.
personally hopeful that they're working in the background, working like hell to find a new place. And I think with the fan campaign going on at the same time, and especially with the focus of the fan campaign, because I think we're really, really focusing in on Apple as our potential. We're getting a lot of inspiration from the Expanse campaign, so and how
Okay.
that was successful. So we're looking at a lot of aspects of what we can do that can target to get the attention. I've seen people in the fandom say that if Apple took over the Wheel of Time, they wouldn't just get their subscription, they would go out and buy Apple products the next day. So they'd
I'd love
literally
to
go
say
out and
that.
buy a phone and a tablet and everything that me and you already have.
I'd love to say that, but I'm
So
an
we
Apple
can't
girl
do that.
through
Maybe
and
get an Apple
through.
Watch. I
So
don't have one of them.
here's here's my iPad
Ah,
with my
I,
Team Varen
I,
sticker on
guess
on it.
I,
But
oh, I
yeah,
think I've got my one on the back of mine as well. Yeah,
ah, good place to
I've
put
got my
it.
team bearing on the back of my laptop.
Very good. Um, I mean, Apple would just that would just tickle my fancy because I've been such a big Apple user for so very long.
Yeah.
um, yeah, and so you're actually even telling me news while we're sitting here because my reaction was so strong that I closed down all of my Wheel of Time social media, every single bit of it. And it made me really glad that I have kept my Wheel of Time social media separate from my real world
Mm-hmm.
social media because it meant that I could keep going with all of my koala work and all of the other stuff that I do within social media, and I just couldn't even see. So I want to give Omar and the What series team a huge shout out because they showed a resilience that I wish I had by joining together and starting to take action straight away. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that so much because I I'm actually a pretty resilient person, but I couldn't believe how this one it just hit me and I was just on the floor.
I just can't
So
believe they did it.
so I guess next is just hitting the campaign and I think trying to be as positive as possible. That was a really nice little Discord discussion that I had with Rapunzel and a couple of people of why we want to attract a new what do you call them? I want to use the word provider and it's not
Platform,
provider. Sorry,
new streaming platform.
that's it. That we want to attract a new streaming
Bubble
platform.
of Prime. Bubble of
Not
Prime.
yeah, and yes, bubble of fucking Prime, but we actually don't want to put forward that really angry, devastated, everything. Even though we're feeling that, we want to make it a situation where another streaming service would go, you know what, those stats on that show really are amazing, and the thing is, they'll still have Sony,
Yeah.
so it's not a complete change of hands.
No.
So come on, someone,
Please save the
take
Wheel
us.
of
We're a
Time.
great package.
Yeah. I mean, come on. We're everybody in the Wheel of Time is great and the show is fantastic. If you haven't already signed the petition, please go to savewhat.com and sign it. You also have the options to write love letters to the cast and the crew, whatever you like. Or you can upload a 30-second video that about why you love the Wheel of Time or what it's meant to you. So there's loads of options that you can do
Yeah.
to help support. If you have come across any articles about the Wheel of Time and about its cancellation, please do not hesitate to send the links to comms at savewhat.com, and we will use that as part of our communications network to get the campaign out there to all the agencies that have been advertising and talking about the Wheel of Time. So
Great.
every
And
little
I'll put those links in the description below as well, so that if you finish watching this and then you think, where was I supposed to go? I'll pop a link below. Yeah. And when you go to savewhat.com, if you think, oh, I don't really know how to record a video, you can actually literally just click a button there and it'll take you to a little recording studio, and you can click record my video, say what you want, and then click upload, and it's done. So that makes it like really easy. You don't have to do it on your own things and save a file and find a file and send a file. You can just do it straight there on the site, easy as. And the more noise we make, it is the Wheel of Time, and the squeaky wheel is the one that gets attention. So we want to do lots of squeaking, but in the best way possible.
Absolutely.
I mean, the really nice thing is that this is now the first time I've actually looked at someone and talked to someone. And I haven't cried. I've half as much as I thought I would. Like,
yeah,
I'll probably cry when we hang up.
And I haven't cried this whole time before talking to you, and I've been crying
really?
on and off ever since we've gotten on, because the emotions have just rushed up. And I think I've been pushing them down since Friday, because I've been so caught up in the whole save campaign and trying to help and trying to push that. So, but yeah. We're getting there. We're at 46,945 signatures and counting. So hopefully by the morning we'll have gotten
We'll go
more.
over 50,000. Yeah. And I know that Good Omens, it nearly failed because of other reasons, and the fans did a big campaign and they got their season 3, which was always going to be the last season. And they've got their season 3. So these things do work. Lots of shows change platforms.
Yeah, Lucifer
series, So we're not asking for something that has never.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Shut up. My phone thought I was asking for something and said, I didn't get that. Can you say it again? Go away. So we're not asking for something that's never happened before. This has happened, and it is very possible. The more I look at that image above, the more I think you're probably right. Apple TV are probably the most likely to take it up, particularly because of the amount of special effects that have to go in it. I'm a huge fan of The Handmaid's Tale, and I've not watched the last season yet. I'm rewatching all of the other 5 seasons before I get into the new season, and Hulu do that, and they've done a great job. But I don't know that they're so much geared up for all the special effects. Handmaid's Tale, even though it is sort of classed in that science fiction-y because it's very dystopian stuff, that they don't. It's a lower budget because they don't have special effects and all of that sort of thing. So Apple possibly are the main one to go
if
to.
you look at Apple's listings, a lot of them are science fiction. So
they've
are
shown
used
some
to
great
doing-
ones.
Yeah, and like Severance is what the heck.
I haven't
and I'm
done
currently
season
watching
2 of
Murderbot.
Severance yet. Yeah,
I haven't gotten that far. Murderbot so far has been so much fun, and I caught up with the most recent episodes. They're only half-hour episodes, so if you haven't watched yet, please do. It's so funny, so dark. The humor is so dark, and obviously they've also got Foundation and Silo, so they're used to doing this kind of stuff. They don't have a fantasy show,
and
so maybe the Wheel of Time is the perfect option for them.
And Foundation is the kind of thing I cut my teeth on, right? Because I'm a little bit older than you, and I mean, it was still out well before I was ready to start reading books. But, it's certainly Asimov and the Foundation series in particular in my early teens were one of my entrances into all of the science fiction type stuff. I still like to say Enid Blyton was my entry into fantasy.
Mine too. I think, to be fair, I think Enid Blyton was everybody's entry into fantasy. I mean,
right?
Magic of the Faraway Tree, The Wishing Chair, there's so many great things.
Yeah. And Hans Christian Andersen, all of that. And Grimm's, all of that kind of thing. But
all those
but
right
then
here on my shelf.
Beautiful,
Oh,
but then in the more the sort of next stage up for me, it was The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. We were studying The Hobbit at school, and
The
things
Hobbit
like
in
that.
the 90s was my first real fantasy novel experience, and I think I was about 14, and the moment we finished reading The Hobbit and I discovered there was more books, I marched myself straight over to my public library and took out the Fellowship of the Rings and got engrossed in the story, So
and that's where Wheel of Time is so amazing, because it's a blend.
Yeah.
It is definitely, you would say it's fantasy, but there's a lot of science fiction in there, which of course season 3
really
started to make more clear. Because we didn't get a lot of background of what these Ogiers were in season 1, but there's a lot of science fiction that's going on in there, so you get this beautiful blend of the two genres all wrapped up into one amazing story. So,
and before we actually completely go, let's quickly say thank you to all the cast and crew for all their amazing dedication and hard work in giving us this incredible show that has brought us together, basically. I mean, the two of us wouldn't be sitting here across from each other if it wasn't for the TV show. So,
and we would never have met in person if it wasn't for the show. It certainly makes me just so grateful that even though I could not afford that last year, that I said, what the fuck, I am going to be at the first Valkyrie-Con in Prague. And I'm so glad that I was there for that amazing experience of meeting so many people I hadn't met, seeing that gorgeous, gorgeous country. And I will certainly treasure that so much forever.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for everything.
Yes. Yep. Because every one of you are my absolute headcanon of exactly how that character talks, thinks, moves, reacts. Like, just totally. I don't have a clue what I said now.
Oh, yours was so good.
I was pleased with it. It just seemed to flow, and now I don't even remember
It
what I
was so
said.
organic, and now you're gonna have to try and rethink it.
God fucking damn it.
Bubbles of evil all around.
Bubbles of Prime.
Bubbles of Prime. Oh, yeah, you should. I
Are
tell you, were
ex-
going first. I said you
Oh
could
my God.
go first again.
I did not think we would laugh. Oh, now my face is even redder than ever.
I'd say we kept having bubbles of Prime, and this is what kept happening.
Fucking Prime.
Damn you, Prime.
So who's going first?
I'm crying with laughter now.
I know. And my face is going to look like I've just been bawling my eyes out and just,
My nose is going to be red like I've been blowing it since yesterday.
So who's going
Right.
first?
You're going to go
I'm going
first. We're going to redo you.
All right. I love
And
this
then-
show because of the way the characters brought the story to life. It's them. They're all that I can see now when I'm reading, and I love the twists and changes that they made to hit the important story beats. And there was one.
Yeah, that's what you were talking about.
And there was one last
We
thing.
wait to finish it.
Yeah, and it
as
was something
well.
that you had said. And what was that? All right. I'm
Okay.
going to have a go at it. Did I say that I'm koala Sedai? I don't know.
I hadn't said it when
Yeah.
I started.
Yeah, brilliant. And the way twists and turns in actual events in the books brought... No, I fucked it. I can't. It's just not coming out the same way. I'm going to start it again. The
Just,
first
you know
time,
what,
the
this
first time
time-
it did, I just went
Yeah.
did, and now I'm
You
like
just came out
Okay.
with exactly
Alright.
what you needed to
I know.
say. And now
42 seconds.
yeah, I can't shut up when I start. It doesn't
It's,
feel
I know
like
it's
that
I know
long.
30 seconds, and I did 30 seconds, did I?
You did 30 seconds.
I feel so smart. Whenever you're ready, I'll just hit
What do
start.
we do now?
Oh, you don't want to do one? Why you want it to continue?
Oh, okay, let's do it. I was confused. I thought you were just like, why is she going? I was like, why is she going so quiet now? Okay.
It's only taken us so far 40 minutes to record 1.5 minutes of video. 30 seconds left. We could be done within an hour. 43.
Oh, for God's sake. I'm Irish. We can't stop talking.
About
you know?
yeah. When you